Hello everyone, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. We have some updates regarding AT&T. Link for the article will be down for you in the description. It looks like there's some negative things to report, okay? Unfortunately, it's not good stuff here. It's not positive news. I wish it was. I love reporting the positive stuff from this carrier or any of the carriers for that matter of a fact. But this here is not good news, and we're going to address some of the key components here of the seriousness of this article. So AT&T has said hackers have stolen records of nearly all cellular customers' calls and texts. So that's nearly all of their customers. All right. Apparently, according to an annual report in 2023, AT&T has a network of 127 million devices connected to it. And apparently, nearly all of those customers have been affected by this breach. So now, how big is this breach? Well, they're saying the data contains records of calls and texts between approximately a time frame of May 1st and October 31st of 2022, and then again on January 2nd of 2023. Now, you might be thinking, well, calls and texts, that's not that serious. Not necessarily, but it could be. Potentially, the threat is there. What if there's some sensitive information in those text messages? What if it's a really high-profile client, the information that has gotten put out there? Maybe it's someone of some great wealth, someone famous. Maybe that has been put on the dark web somewhere. We don't know, and we might find out. There might be a major lawsuit as a result of this, right? So there's the potential of this being very bad. Not to mention, we're being told it's nearly all of their customers, not just like a few. That's pretty big to go ahead and attach, an attack to almost every customer within the company, right? Every customer that they have almost. So that's really big. This is like T-Mobile data breach status. And, that's kind of the problem here is I feel like AT&T is starting to get a lot of that negative attention as far as keeping customers' information secure. We know that T-Mobile has been pretty much the king leader in the wireless realm of not keeping customers' information safe. We've talked about this here a lot. You'll hear about it anywhere. And anyone that even loves T-Mobile's network will argue we wish they were a little bit more secure. I'm with you. And that's kind of how I'm feeling now with AT&T. I love the network. I think it's a great network. I think something's not right. Something's not right here. A company of this stature, with this amount of history doing this, being in this type of game of the wireless industry, there should already be some kind of very strong contingency here, some kind of really strong protective way of keeping customers' data safe. We don't expect this from a carrier of this stature, of this being this big, right? They're too big for this. This is not a small little carrier coming in that, is just learning the ropes. This is not US Mobile. This is not Mint Mobile. This is AT&T, one of the largest carriers, one of the OG carriers that started the whole thing many, 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 many moons ago. So, unfortunately, things happen. Companies get hacked. We understand that. We don't like it, but we understand it. But not when it's a reoccurrence. And that is what I've said about T-Mobile. Not when it is a constant reoccurrence. It's not something customers want to hear. Customers want to be reassured that they can sign up for an account with you and not have to worry about receiving emails or text messages or pulling up their credit report one day when they want to lease a car or buy a home or whatever it is they do with their money and seeing something negative on there that they were unaware of, right? Maybe somebody grabbed their info, their financial info, and went out and started spending a bunch of money. And now they have some debt and collections somewhere that they didn't even know they had. A lot of people don't even check their credit until it's necessary, until they need to buy something. Now, of course, in 2024, many of us that care about our credit should have some kind of monitoring service, but that is beyond the point. The point is companies should do a little bit better here protecting us. All right. So it says that the FCC has launched their own private investigation into the breach, and that the Justice Department and the FBI said that they're working with AT&T to investigate the hack. They said that they have at least one of the cyber attackers in custody, and that they're looking to try, of course, to get the rest of them. So I don't know if some kind of deal will be made with the person that they have locked up in custody. Maybe they'll squeal, and that's how they'll be able to get their hands on the rest of them. I don't know. Like I said, the big issue here is, there are certain sites that if you plug a phone number in, you can get a lot of information, more than enough. You could be able to kind of figure out what their date of birth is, where they live, some of their financial information, whether or not it's 100% accurate, maybe not. You might even be able to get their social. I mean, people shop online. They use their phone numbers for everything. And that could be deep-rooted somewhere in the cache, online, on the dark web, wherever it is. And that could lead to some negative problems for customers. Not to mention, if cyber attackers are able to reach this many customers and get that many phone numbers, what's to say that the threat won't be worse next time, stronger, and that they can pull more data just like that? Get those socials, get those credit card numbers, get those bank account numbers, get date of births, get addresses, whatever it is, get it all. And that's my problem here, is that these companies are a little too big to allow this type of thing. Again, it happens. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes there's an internal employee that makes a mistake. They push the wrong button. They don't review everything properly. It happens. Sometimes there are people in positions of high positions that are not qualified. They're not best qualified to deal with these types of tasks, or they just don't care enough, or they're sabotaging the company on purpose because of whatever, negative reason they have. Could be anything. And these things happen. But when it's continuous, it makes you wonder how little they actually care. There's got to be a better way for companies like T-Mobile to have this happen over and over again. And now AT&T is basically following the trend. AT&T, as much as I love the network, has been receiving a lot of negativity over the last couple of months. They've had a number of major outages. We got one recently. It was the hurricane outage. We understand that networks go down temporarily during hurricanes. They're not perfect. They're not made of steel, right? I mean, things happen. Weather conditions, are sometimes formidable, right? We just don't know what is going to happen, right? It's unforeseen. It is what it is, but it's just a lot of negative attention is what I'm saying towards them. And now with the security, it's not a good look. So I hope things turn around for them. And I really think these companies, all these carriers and other large tech companies, because this is not just an AT&T thing. It's not just a T-Mobile thing. It's not just a Verizon thing. These happen with all these carriers. But when it's a reoccurrence, they need to sit down together and they need to have dinner and they need to figure out, how can we prevent this? I've said this before. And I do think, and it's even mentioned here where the author or someone here, one of a professor or something that is basically just looking at the case. And even this person says, the FCC has to pull these carriers aside, these companies aside, and say, listen, this is not cool. This is not acceptable. You have to figure out a way to prevent these types of things. Customers need to have companies that they can depend on. They should not have to worry about their data being so easily accessible to hackers. There's got to be a better process. Now, I don't know what that process is because I don't know what AT&T does behind the scenes. I don't know what T-Mobile does behind the scenes, and I'm sure they're doing the best they can, but it's obviously not enough, is what I'm saying. So until these companies are being forced and being held accountable for it, and I mean really accountable, not just a $2 million fine, which obviously they just laugh off. It's got to be something severe enough where listen, if this continues to happen, you cannot operate for 6 months or something to that extent, right? And that's going to hurt a lot of customers, unfortunately. But I think a lot of customers would prefer that as the alternative other than having their info on a dark web and them racking up, winding up having to pay for a bunch of debt that they didn't even charge up, having their credit, demolished because of some cyber threat attack that a company didn't pay enough attention to stop. Right? So I don't know. That's my opinion. Feel free to comment down below anything that you have for me. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Once again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.